Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jennifer Hynes, and welcome. And guys, Jennifer is now an environmental coffeehouse admin, and she is with us. She's one of us. She is one of the team. I am absolutely thrilled because I'm going to give her the keys to the kingdom, and which includes figuring out how to give someone else the opportunity to use that YouTube and maybe not screw up videos. And it's really all awesome. So tonight, we're actually going to tag team an article. It is an amazing article by this guy, Pablo Q. Found this website called Responding to Collapse, Adaptation and Resilience. And it really resonated with me and Jennifer, and I gave it to a couple of other people to read. And we thought, this is going to be awesome. So, Marcia, I'm going to say hi to you. I'm going to hide that. Marcia and Trevor and Buddy and Kim and Victoria and everybody, Chris, everybody that's here, Jeff, we're glad, and we're going to get started on this because there's a lot to cover in this. And then we will be taking the questions, comments, and all that after we get through this because it's quite a bit. So I'm going to start. And hopefully we'll get some really good out of this. You know,
I just want to say something. Hi. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for having me on today, Sandy. So glad to be here. And you're right, this is a fabulous article, and I'm looking forward to going through it with you.
That's my problem. I forget that I'm not alone. And now we have a team. And so it's really great. It's actually awesome. And I'm so sorry. I'm so excited. See, I'm terrible hostess already. Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Karen.
And I can see the chat just to let you know. Hey, Torsten. Hello. Hey, Betty.
All right.
Hi, guys.
So the welcoming committee is here. And okay, let's continue to have the difficult conversation at the edge of extinction. Yeah. Hi, Kevin. All right. The gang is all here. So let's start. And Jennifer, forgive me. You know,
It's great. It's great. All right, let's go.
So I'm going to start. Fear, anxiety, and responding to collapse. Quote, I had never really felt in my bones the weight of it all. I had never felt a sense of real fear for myself and for those I love most, and for all of humanity. But that was what rushed me when I finished working. It rushed over me when I finished working in Siberia. Now, that's attributed to climate change photographer Katie Orlinsky. She was on a National Geographic assignment about 2008 on permafrost. Now, this article is about the importance of connecting and managing our fear and anxiety to adapt and develop resilience. Fear is a feeling of inner turmoil, often accompanied by nervous behavior, such as starting your live stream and forgetting about your guest. Such as pacing back and forth and dwelling or ruminating. It is the feelings of dread over anticipated events. Many people that are aware of our existential threats can be anxious, afraid, and dreadful. Occasionally, I feel the same. The good news is that if you are anxious or afraid, you've managed to act. Fear is likely a barrier to awareness and acceptance of our crisis. Our challenges are so overwhelming that at a subconscious level, many among us choose not to engage with our reality, and we fall into denial. The bad news is that fear and anxiety can paralyze us. It can lead us to despair or cloud our judgment. I'm not going to tell you that there's nothing to fear and that we will likely solve our predicaments. Based on what we've done so far in terms of facing our environmental energy, overpopulation, climate disruption crises, it's way more realistic to consider a bleak future as possible. In this article, I'll link to resources on dealing with anxiety and fear. But I want to make myself clear. Many resources recommend activism as an antidote to despair. So I recommend Extinction Rebellion if that's a path you'd like. But I'm a realist.
It is reasonable to seriously consider the possibility of defeat. After all, the odds are not looking good. I'm not saying that we should stop doing activism. We need it. But we should also prepare and adapt. We've already woken up the dragon of climate change, overpopulation, unprecedented economic inequality, and mass extinction. Peak energy and conflict are half asleep. Since all our constructive actions may or may not avert predicted catastrophe, some people, in addition to doing what they can to solve problems, are also preparing for the transition to a different way of life. The irony is that this may turn out to be not only the smart and prudent thing to do, expect the best, prepare for the worst, but also brings us more happiness into our lives. A simpler, more logical, neighbor-connected lifestyle may turn out to be far more satisfying than the rushed and stressed rat race so many of us endure today.
Go ahead. You can do back to fear.
Back to fear. If you aren't afraid, you're not paying attention, and you're not aware of how destructive collapse could be. You're not aware how badly damaged our life support systems are. Fear and anxiety are emotions that we must acknowledge, connect to, and then let them go through us like a passing wave. These emotions force us to think about our crisis instead of denying them. They motivate us to act. That is why it is important to embrace them. Climate change is a powerful catalyst that is making people aware that business as usual is a dead end. By no means is climate change our only existential threat, but it does act as a threat multiplier to other crises. What creates more sense of urgency than fear? No amount of veggie gardening will address the powerful feelings and concerns that arise among those with gut-level experience, even secondhand via the omnipresent media, of oil spills, toxic contamination, resource wars, food and energy shortages, or climate-caused droughts, fires, or hurricanes. Some people are also connecting the dots between what's happening in the secondary and tertiary economies, jobs and money, and primary economy, nature, raising additional worries.
Appropriate fear and stress. When fear and anxiety overtake our mind, they impair our ability to accomplish difficult tasks. Preparing for an energy descent, climate-disrupted future in which food, water, energy, society, and transportation are likely to become increasingly disrupted is not an easy endeavor. We must retain calm and in order to prepare and adapt. Below is a graphic which I'm not going to show you. You're going to look at it in the article when I clip it up because I didn't do the thing. But there is a graphic showing the relationship between arousal, fear and anxiety, right? And performance when doing difficult tasks. So what the thing shows is that having moderate amounts of stress and fear, oh, she's showing it on her side, awesome, increases performance. Low budget, it's great, it works, right? I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Oh, wait, nope, that's you, Jennifer. Okay.
I must not fear. This is a quote from Frank Herbert. Yeah. I'm sure most people here have read Dune. I absolutely loved it. I read Dune so many times. This is a quote from Dune. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. Frank Herbert. As unpleasant as some emotions can be, however, every type of negative emotion that we experience is evolutionarily designed to serve one overriding purpose: to help motivate behavior that will bring us back into balance. Managing fear. So fear and stress are useful in low doses because they keep us on task and can actually help us to make better decisions. But how can we manage those feelings so that they don't become a hindrance? The best way to manage fear and anxiety is to live in the present. Fear can't exist in the present, and when it does, it's only for a brief period of time when there is immediate danger. Deep breathing is a good way of calming our body and thus our mind. Breathing exercises like box breathing can reset your mental rhythm and take you off a negative path of fear and anxiety. They are very effective at calming and improving your mental state. Mindfulness is another great way of calming yourself. It basically is just trying to be present and aware of your body and mind, your sensations, feelings, and thoughts. This awareness has to be non-judgmental. Think of them as neutral, not negative or positive. Don't dwell on your thoughts, just let them pass through you. The disadvantage of mindfulness is that it might be harder for people to practice during highly stressful situations. Other than that, there's a reason why it is so widely recommended. Fear and anxiety can cause us to paralyze. Instead of a fight or flight response, we freeze. If we feel spaced out, shut down, or unreal, we are detaching from reality. When we notice we are zoning out and going into autopilot, we can try a grounding exercise to get us back into our bodies and into the present. Standing up and stomping your feet against the floor can be a powerful way to bring us back into the here and now.
Don't be afraid of fear. Allow yourself to be afraid. Don't resist the experience. It's natural. We must be comfortable with fear. If we focus on avoiding fear, it will be like being afraid of fear. And being afraid of fear becomes a self-fulfilling, vicious cycle. Now, exposure to stress. A way of becoming more resilient to stress is through exposure to stress. Makes sense. There's stress inoculation training, exposure therapy, and systematic desensitization. The idea behind these techniques is to first learn ways to cope with fear, anxiety, stress, and then gradually become exposed to what triggers these emotions. The first step is to find ways to manage stress that work for you, like the breathing techniques, and keep stress at tolerable levels. The second step is to become stressed. Gradually expose yourself to things that trigger that fear and anxiety. Ideally, you can expose yourself to controlled simulations of your fears. But
I'm going to pick up where Sandy left off. Ideally, you could expose yourself to controlled simulations of your fears, but most likely you'll have to simulate them in your mind. Create vivid, specific visualizations or mental imagery of what you fear and immerse yourself in them. Once you stay calm on those situations, you should go further into your fear and visualize things that make you even more fearful. The point is to walk calmly and gradually towards your fears instead of running from them. Confront the end of your own life and then figure out one thing you can do to channel your anxiety effectively. Fear of death. Coming to terms with death is a helpful step in collapse, resilience, and adaptation. If we confront the fear of death, then we are free to live without having that fear controlling us. Thinking through what is that we are afraid about death and just taking the time to contemplate our own eventual death can help us be more familiar with it. We are afraid of the unknown. Responding to collapse is not about fearing the future or being afraid of dying. It's about accepting our existential threats and then preparing to face them in an intelligent way. We all die. If we just focus on delaying the inevitable, we'll merely be surviving, not living. Personal actions. Here is a list of actions from the American Psychological Association that can help increase mental resilience and manage anxiety and fear. I've also added my thoughts. Belief in one's own resilience. People who feel positive about their ability to overcome a source of stress and trauma do better. Foster optimism. Those who are able to refrain and find something positive in their circumstances tend to do better than people who are less able to regulate their thoughts, emotions, and actions. Humor is also great.
I say that.
Find personal meaning. For many, faith gives us a sense of peace during difficulty. Having a spiritual practice can help people manage and find meaning in suffering during significant adversity. Nevertheless, you don't need spirituality to carve meaning into your life. Finding your own meaning is an incredible aid. Boost personal preparedness. Preparedness, family, neighborhood, community response plans, and resilience can help increase confidence and bring the feeling of safety and reduce fear. Support social networks. One strategy frequently noted in resilience studies is cultivating and maintaining strong social connections. Connectedness to others is a core psychological need and an essential foundation for well-being. During difficult times, people turn to those they are close to, such as family, friends, and neighbors for emotional support, as well as material help. Social support is a critical protective resource during adversity. Action is the antidote of despair. Ultimately, your personal anxiety has no effect on the world around you. Worry is not action, and knowledge, while important, is not action either. Randall, a psychotherapist, cautions against getting caught up in following every minute detail of an issue. He says, whatever the issue is, once you've found out about it, stop. She says, that's enough. You know about it. Then you need to decide what you're going to do. As we come to accept the limits of our general powerlessness, we also find the parameters of the power we do have in this strange new situation. We discover we are no longer needed to resist our current and emerging reality. We don't need to feel compelled to save the entire world or to hold on to a world that no longer makes sense. We are freed, instead, to pursue what James Kussler calls the intelligent response, seeking and taking whatever creative, constructive action will best sustain those aspects of life that are truly most important to us and the context of changes unfolding around us. At this point, our curiosity and creativity kick in, and we can begin following our natural instincts to find out what is both feasible and rewarding to safeguard ourselves, our families, our communities, and the planet. Live in the present, get busy living, or get busy dying.
Wasn't that awesome?
So there we have it.
Wow.
And it seems that I am the host of Environmental Coffeehouse. I think Sandy must have had an internet issue.
I'm here.
So I guess I'm going and hosting this. I'm not exactly sure how to do this. I can see the live comments on the side.
Can anybody see me?
If anybody has any questions, let's see what we've got here. Let me kind of take a look at a couple of these things.
Nobody can see me or hear me? Nobody's answering.
So anyway, here we are. I hope you enjoyed, or not really enjoyed. Enjoy is always the wrong word, but we're able to kind of sink your mind into that very substantial article. There are a lot of good thoughts about it, and I see the chat is at the top. Let's see. We can see you and Sandy. So you can still see Sandy, is that correct?
Can you hear me, guys? Oh, because I can see.
So it's only me that can't see Sandy?
Yeah, I wonder
I'm not
what
really
happened.
Sure.
I wonder what happened.
So you
Jennifer,
can see both of us.
Go out.
Sandy, I don't know. Are you able to type?
Yes.
Okay. It's only me that can't see Sandy, and I can't hear her either. So something's happened. It's going to be an interesting situation because I can't hear Sandy and I can't see Sandy. And
but
all of you can.
Go back out and in. Jennifer, go back out and log back in. Read it.
I'm going to go ahead and pause now, although I can't see Sandy or hear her. So I'm just going to take my guidance from the chat right here.
I'm sorry,
all right, Sandy,
guys.
it's all yours.
Okay, I'm here. If I don't know how she can't hear me, but I wrote it back. I wrote it a few times.
I'll go ahead and I'll come back.
Oh, good. Okay. Technology, guys. I thought the article was wonderful. Okay. I thought it was great. Now she's going to come back in. I don't know what happened, but hi, everybody. Jeff and Greg. You know, I wondered because when we were reading it, all of a sudden she started reading my part, but I realized something must have happened. So I think she's coming back. Okay. Jennifer, you're back. I'm back. Yay.
I can see you and I can hear you. I was wondering how that was going to go because I couldn't see you or hear you.
It's okay. You read the whole thing and I loved it. And Keith says, Jennifer, reboot. That's cute. Well, anyway, out there in the chat, guys, what'd you think about this? I thought it was a great article. I thought it really gave you, it told you the truth, right, Jennifer? But there was no like sugarcoating. But we get up every morning. We have a life. We're still here. There's things to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely,
absolutely. I'm sure you would be.
Yeah, and Carolyn Baker used to have a resilience group here in Boulder, Colorado, and when I was just waking up to our existential and environmental crisis, the only thing I really wanted to do was to talk to somebody about it. And in times of complete breakdown of everything that community becomes more and more important. So I think we're going to be forming all kinds of communities, and they're not necessarily going to be familial like blood ties, but they'll be communities of people of like mind.
Mm-hmm. That's like the intentional communities.
Yes.
And I did a little video. I showed this Amish farm that's for sale that would be a perfect intentional community for like-minded people. Of course, there's you know, the pros and the cons. Can people live together? You have to have a very communal sense of spirit and understand everything is for the good of the group and not for yourself. Can that happen?
Torsten Vidal has had an interesting comment.
Oh, would you like me to put that up? He always slumbers when women read to him. Well, I hope that you had a really good slumber, because maybe you got the subliminal message underneath our reading. It was pretty good. We'll put the link up. What did Lori say? In this ever-changing world in which we're living. Oh, let's sing. In this ever-changing world in which we're living. You know, Jennifer, you're busy. I'm busy. We know, and a lot of the women followers and the men, we all know where we're going, but we're here.
Yeah.
And you make the best of it.
Well, there's a huge need. I remember when I first encountered Carolyn's group, I had just read her book called Sacred Demise. And if you haven't read that book, it's a really good read. Carolyn Baker's Sacred Demise. I was hungry for it, and I read it probably in like 2 days. It was just one of those things. I was like, I'm sucking it up, you know. And then I was like, I've got to find this woman. I got to talk to her. Yeah. And then I tracked her down, and I wrote her an email, and I said, listen, I need to find some people, you know, to talk with, physical people. And do you know of anybody in Boulder? And she goes, oh, I'm in Boulder, and we have an intentional resilience group, and we're meeting tomorrow. And so I just started out right then. And the first day that I went there to her resilience group, I completely talked over everybody. I just like took over the whole group for like about 2 sessions, because I was like, I don't know, it was like this disgorging that I needed to do. And then after that, I felt so much better. And I also felt connected to the community. And I'm sure they felt connected to me, like it or not, you know. But, you know, community is so important. You know, we're social creatures. We're emotional creatures. We like to talk, we like intrigue, we like all sorts of things like that, but we like to be able to share these deep thoughts. This is too big of a crisis to try and handle this on your own and try and dope it out in your own mind, because you can't.
That's why we're here. That's why we have community online. We may not be the biggest community between YouTube and Facebook, but you know what? We're tight. And the people that are with us now are tight, and I know each and every one of them, and it's been great. And I hope that this whole relationship just is beautiful, Jennifer, with us, and that you are happy. I want you to be happy. I'm
very happy. And I'm honored. I'm very honored
and talented. And
I'm happy to be here. I needed kind of a home. As you guys know, I used to be with Extinction Radio for a couple of years, and that's folded down. And I've been doing various projects and things like that. And Sandy reached out and offered to kind of give me a more active role in Environmental Coffeehouse, and I'm incredibly grateful.
No. You know, we could have this mutual admiration thing, because we really have a lot in common, and we've met, and I've been at Jennifer's beautiful home, and we just enjoy each other. And that's why this is going to work, because we enjoy each other. We truly enjoy each other. And this sisterhood, you know, even the guys that are out there, you're involved in this sisterhood, but we're building a family. And like Steve says, the coffee house is a family. Anthony says, it's good. Wait, I lost him. I lost what it said. The family. Oh, the coffee house is a family. It really is. It's a family on YouTube, and it's a family here. It is. And even, you know, when a lot of us have issues, even if we're not with someone physically, we're here together. We're all somewhere, right? You know, we're all somewhere in flesh and blood. You're flesh and blood. But I know where you are, because I've sat there. I sat there. We had fun. Yes, we went.
Yes, we did.
We went mountain climbing, and I made it up. Let's see, what did I make it up? A quarter of the mountain. And then I was like, oh my God, whining about my back and all that. All of the rest of them are trailblazers getting up that hill. And I'm just sitting down there. And then Hambo comes down there and sits with the little dog. And that was it. We both sat there and waited for the wayward travelers. You guys must have you went far.
Yeah. We're wild Colorado people. That was wonderful. That was at Carolyn Baker's workshop 2 years ago, I believe, right?
Yep, 2 years ago. I'll never forget it because it really helped me. It helped me when I was struggling with all of this in the beginning. So I was struggling personally, which I have been with my health, but I was also struggling with all the information, and it really completely helped. I got a lot of things out. She's a wonderful facilitator. Dean was there facilitating. It was just a wonderful experience. Not a lot of us can afford all these things. And believe me, I don't know if I could anymore, but it was well worth going into a little debt for.
Well, you know what the beauty of these things are?
Here.
I didn't know anybody. Hey, hi, Chris. I didn't know anybody when I went to there. I had never met Dean. I only knew Carolyn. I hadn't known you or Hambone or anybody. And we came out after 3 days of, pretty intensive sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had friends, and then we had connections, and that's really wonderful. That's invaluable in my book.
Nina Parker from Whistling in the Dark is also our buddy.
Absolutely.
And who a couple of other people that I don't know if they're online, but it was just an amazing experience that when people get together and can let these things out, it's really therapeutic. I think it was a turning point for me in my health, as far as mental health and being able to do this. Because I always say, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Jen, the experience is so much, there's so much going on, but we can't control the big picture. We can only control ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's
much
right.
as I can do that.
That's right. Well, we can try and control our reactions to things and take things on a more even keel, not get too blown out by things.
Right. I was thinking as we were reading, or I was listening actually to you reading the article, that this article could work with a family situation also. There were quite a few things that came up to my mind besides just being resilient to the fate we are looking at with our climate change and environmental degradation. This can work. This is for your everyday life, how to deal with even family strife. So I really am going to check out this whole thing. This is new to me. I mean, I don't know why. I thought the writing was excellent. I did. And Bev sent it to me. She actually sent it to me. Bev LaRue, I hope it was Bev LaRue, sent it to me today, and the website, and I just was like, oh my God, this dropped in my lap. Here we are. We want to not so much say, oh, we're inspirational and flowers, everything's going to be great. Like he says, we can't get out in the garden and pretend everything is hunky-dory, but we can still garden, and we're still doing everything we can within the weather parameters, although it's been raining here like crazy. And the raised beds, thank you for the raised beds, because in between they flood in the walkways every single day. Every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got some pretty foliage where you live.
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty wet summer so far. I know. Yeah. Oh, by the way, happy solstice.
Oh, yes, it's
happy solstice. We should light a little fire and dance around it. I forgot to even mention it to you, but happy solstice.
I wish you were here with me. I've got two girlfriends, Michelle and Joan, here. Michelle's got her little trailer on our property. And in fact, Buddy's with us, Buddy Unglesby. Buddy, Michelle is here, and Joan, he met them at our party, and we are, thank you, Eva, Chris, we are going to have some fun later. Hopefully I won't have a problem downloading this for YouTube. If I do, I've got Max in Finland. I'm going to ask him. I'm pulling a big favor. He's got to do it, because as I've been through the modem saga, I cannot download our last live stream to save my life. It clicks off right at like the 50-minute mark. And so how long have we been on? Okay. We want to make sure, oh, we're not bad. We got another few minutes. Anybody you want to talk about? Anything you guys want to talk about out there? I'm so glad you're done and you're with us, Chris. This is great. This is great. Oh, Kim says, have to dance naked tonight.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more interesting, doesn't it? You know, rather than dwelling on doom and gloom, let's light a fire, get naked and dance around the fire. I think that sounds ever so much better.
We do a campfire every weekend, and it has been raining so much, I don't even know if we could start one tonight. I've got dry kindling. I've got dry wood under a tarp, but I don't know. Or the girls might even have it started already. I have no idea what's going on out there. So let's see. Everybody's saying happy solstice. I forgot all about saying that because I was reading about it today. So I think that's a pretty good place to kind of end tonight and let everybody have a wonderful Friday night. And if you happen to not listen to the article, Jen narrated it beautifully. It is really good. The links will be up. We had a little snafu. She couldn't see me. I could see her. So it was fine because I went right along with it. I had no idea. But when you are a low budget, like I said on YouTube, we're low budget. We don't ask for donations. You know, this is a labor of love. And we love all of you. And it's not for profit. It's not for anything. It's for education, community, and love. And I'm going to let you have the last word tonight, Jen.
Well, I'm ever so honored that I'm part of this community. I can't wait to continue our investigations and our sharings. And thank you very much for inviting me into your home.
Oh, man. Our home. Environmental Coffeehouse home. We have Colibri Ter Sonnenblum's with us, too. I'm really excited.
Hi.
Yeah, he's gonna come on. I know it. Once I get better internet, we can tag team our interviews and do them together. So many awesome things are going to happen, both on YouTube and here. And we can, the sky's the limit. Education, stay together, we be positive, and thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Peace.